Anyway, let's talk about June 17th. Some very important things going on here, as this is the first major announcement, the first meeting without who? Yeah, Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, he's gone. He's been gone since the middle of May, right? About a month ago. So here's the deal. What we have coming out on June 17th is the next Federal Reserve meeting. Now, this is a 2-day meeting that happens every 6 weeks, and the last one was the very end of April. Now, this next one is June 16th and 17th. Now, the reason that this is so incredibly important is because, again, Jerome Powell, the guy that was there for several years as the chairman of the Federal Reserve, is now gone. He was gone as of May 15th. His tenure ended, right? So anyway, as a result, now we have these new meetings coming up here, and this will be the first meeting after Jerome Powell has exited as the chairman. Okay, so very important stuff here. Now, the anticipation is we're going to see rapid interest rate decreases and cuts going forward, right? No, likely not. But there's a lot of anticipation and a lot of people out there that are crossing their fingers and anticipating that we're going to see some major reductions in interest rates. We're going to see a booming economy, and we're going to see the finances of the American people improving rapidly because of the cuts to interest rates. No, that's actually not how it works, and likely not how it's going to be. So there's going to be probably some disappointments going forward, and they're likely just going to pause on their interest rate policy, at least with this meeting. We'll have to see here, but especially with the rapidly rising inflation and spiking inflation over the last few months here, there's no way that they're going to cut interest rates into spiking inflation. At least that wouldn't be a very smart move, realistically. It's just going to generate even more inflation if they were to cut interest rates in this next meeting. So that's the consensus as of right now. But here's the deal. Obviously, we want interest rates to go down because at the end of the day, those of us out there, me included, I'm not sure about you, anybody who's floating balances on credit cards, paying 20.5%, 21%, 21.5%, 22% interest on credit cards, not a fun thing. I'm not sure about you. I can't stand looking at my credit card statement every month and seeing how much money is being blown on interest every single month. Not a fan. Not sure if you're in that position, but I do not love that at all. So interest rates on credit cards and things like that, basically short-term adjustable interest rates, like credit cards would be most notable that people would feel it right away, would be impacted, as well as like lines of credit, HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, things like this would be impacted by interest rate cuts. But realistically, as of right now, the markets are only pricing in about one interest rate cut later on this year, like the very last quarter of the year, the fourth quarter of the year. There's anticipation that we might be getting one interest rate cut this year, and it'd be 25 basis points or 1/4%. Woo! What are you going to do with all your extra money? Nothing, because there's not going to be much left, right? So anyway, this meeting is going to be very, very interesting to see how this is conducted, some of the commentary, and what is being mentioned within this next report here when the Federal Reserve wraps up their 2-day meeting on the 17th of June, what happens to be Wednesday. Okay, so at 2 p.m. East Coast time on Wednesday, June 17th, we will have the press conference. This is when the chairman of the Federal Reserve will come out and take questions from reporters. It's going to be very, very interesting to see this because, again, this is the first meeting without Jerome Powell at the helm. So we will have to see how this next meeting is conducted, the commentary that comes out of this, and some of the tonality with the new chairman as far as what's being indicated around the overall economy. Okay, because we're seeing this major bifurcation within the economy. We're seeing a very small percentage of the population who has a very high income, spending money like crazy, like it's going out of style. And then you have a huge percentage of the population, like 90% of the population, excluding the top 10% of income earners, who are struggling financially, who are cutting back, who are contracting, and really struggling. So really, we have about 10% of the population that is keeping the entire economy afloat. If they cut back at any given point, it's not going to end in a pretty story. It's going to be a nasty situation.